Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about something a little bit different. I want to really focus on the New York Rangers, obviously being my favorite NHL team, but in particular, given what's been happening with their goaltending situation, I thought it would be the right time to kind of narrow down and just talk about this team specifically, given what has happened over the past 24 hours, not even. So I'm not going to be doing this with every NHL team, at least not for a while. It would be maybe something that I would do over a long progression of time, talking about certain scenarios with each team and what is basically the things that are being most talked about if something big happens, whether it would be a trade, a signing, or a prospect, something of that nature I could see happening, but it would happen over a length of time. And I've been wanting to talk about specifically the Rangers since I started the channel, but I really haven't gotten the chance to because I didn't really see anything that would be worthwhile talking about. And I thought that the videos I've been doing previously just made more sense to do instead of just talking about the Rangers, not trying to be biased or anything like that. So for this video today, I am going to be talking about just the Rangers, and in particular, like I said, their goaltending situation. Why am I talking about their goaltending situation, you may ask? That is because yesterday the Rangers recalled their top goaltending prospect, Igor Shesterkin, to the Rangers team after dominating the AHL up until this point. In 26 games played this year, or pardon me, 23, he has 15 wins, which is second in the AHL in goalies, 4 losses, 3 overtime losses, 3 shutouts, and has the best goals allowed average of 1.93 and the second best save percentage with .932. Shesterkin has been fantastic. He pretty much made the Rangers have no choice other than to send him up and give him a chance. Even while the current goaltenders on the team, that being Henrik Lundqvist, of course, and Aleksander Georgiev, the young Bulgarian goaltender, they haven't been playing bad at all, but the Rangers have been on a slide lately, downturning, having been swept in their past away trip in Canada, losing all 3 games, and really been an up and down team for quite some time now. Obviously, they're still in a rebuild, I would consider them, but this is going to be very interesting with Shesterkin coming up because if you know anything about him, he has been arguably the most coveted prospect the Rangers have had since they drafted him. He was drafted in 2014 in the 4th round and finally came to North America this season after spending his entire career up until this point in the KHL with SKA, which is arguably their best KHL team there, dominant KHL team. So the question was coming to North America is how good is he going to be? Is he just a product of being on a fantastic Russian team, or is he the real deal? And he led the KHL in numerous columns, whether it be the win column, save percentage, shutouts, etc., throughout his whole tenure there, and won all championships. But now that he's with the Rangers, this is the test. He starts tonight against the Colorado Avalanche, so talk about throwing him into the Sharks right away. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays. So my guess is unless he just completely flunks and has 3 or 4 starts of doing terribly, I fully expect him to be with the team for pretty much the remainder of the season. The only exception could be, besides him playing poorly, is him being sent down when the Rangers have their break, their All-Star break, so he get more playing time. As long as the AHL is still playing around that time too. I'm not sure when their All-Star break is, but I don't think it's the same time. But Shesterkin has been fantastic. I'm unbelievably excited to see him play. But there's a lot of ifs still. He has proven it on every level, so now it's time for him to shine in the show with the New York Rangers. So what does this mean for the other goaltenders, Aleksander Georgiev and Henrik Lundqvist? If you don't know, and one other point that I want to make with Igor that could have prompted him being called up as well is, like Vitaly Kravtsov, who's another promising prospect the Rangers have, Russian forward, Shesterkin has a European clause. So what does that mean? That means that if Shesterkin is not happy with the Rangers at all and he wants to go back to Russia, he can do that at any point during his contract because he's on an entry-level contract making him around $925,000 a year for 2 years, and then he would be an RFA after that contract is done. And throughout that whole time, he can go to Europe whenever he wants to go back and play. If, say, he had a falling out with the Wolfpack or the Rangers, but that hasn't been the case. But maybe because he's proven everything already, it could have made Rangers management realize that, hey, we don't want to take the risk of him possibly going back because he might get tired of playing in the AHL when he's far supreme to that type of league. So now he's with the team. Just wanted to throw that out there because that could be a possibility. The reason why he was called up wasn't due to injuries. That is what I've been reading from the reports and from Coach Quinn himself. And yeah, so what does that mean for Georgiev and Lundqvist? Well, Lundqvist has 1 year left on his long contract. I believe his contract he's currently on was a 7-year contract they signed. Big deal at the time. And Georgiev is also... Lundqvist has 2 years left on his contract, including this year. Georgiev is on the final year of his entry-level contract when he's only making a little bit over $700,000, which is bizarre. So that is very appealing to be part of a trade, while Lundqvist is most likely not going to be moved and will most likely retire a Ranger and never play for another team. That is my assumption, given the fact that when the Rangers started their rebuild 2 or so years ago, they offered to trade Lundqvist to a contending team, and he said, no, I want to stay with the Rangers. I want to be here through this process and help them succeed again. So all those things factor in to, to the situation. But overall, Hank isn't going anywhere. So Georgiev seems like the odd man out. Unfortunately, he's a 23-year-old goaltender. Really like him a lot. I talked about him previously in other videos, but Georgiev seems imminent that he will be moved. It's just a matter of when and for what. I don't have an answer as of right now. They're currently going to be rotating 3 goaltenders. Starting tonight, Georgiev is going to be the healthy scratch looking down at the game in the box, while Lundqvist will be backing up Igor, which should really help him, give him pointers and things of that nature, because Igor has even said years prior that Lundqvist is who he idolizes, is arguably his favorite player. So seeing it happen now where they are actually going to be playing together is truly fantastic. But overall, this is just going to be interesting because, like I said, Hank and Georgiev haven't been terrible this season at all. The Rangers' defense has definitely been in direct effect with their win and loss column and just giving up too many odd man chances, grade A chances for that matter. But Lundqvist, in 24 games played this season, has 9 wins, 9 losses, 3 overtime losses, goals allowed average of 3.10, and a save percentage of .910. So really not terrible. He's doing pretty much what we would expect him to do. And overall, he has had a couple games here and there where he hasn't looked great, but overall he has had a fine start throughout the first half of the season. Pretty much splitting time almost equally with Georgiev. Georgiev in 20 games played has 10 wins, 9 losses, 1 overtime loss, goals allowed average of 3.17, and a save percentage of .909. Georgiev, as of late, has not been playing his best hockey, but neither has the Rangers. And Georgiev was on a very good hot streak for a bit, but he seemed to be cooled down. That's expected, especially with the type of defense the Rangers have. They give up way too many grade A chances on a nightly basis. And like I've said before, as long as Lindy Ruff is really controlling the defense of this New York Rangers team, I don't see it getting much better. But that is besides the point. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this New York Rangers team and if Igor Shesterkin thrives in his role now with the New York Rangers and becomes a mainstay as their 1A or 1B goaltender and really pushes Georgiev out of the spot on the roster. So as the coming days happen, seeing after he will play tonight, I would have more to say about it. But I just want to get this all out there because it's obviously a big deal for anyone that knows the Rangers or knows Shesterkin. He's a fantastic goaltender, arguably the best goaltending prospect in the league and has been for quite some time. He is currently the #1 overall goaltender in the AHL. He was invited to their All-Star game on their first All-Star team. As of right now, it doesn't look like he'll be playing because from reports I've seen too, it seems like as long as Shesterkin plays as advertised, he isn't going anywhere. This isn't him to just be called up to play a game or two and leave. So I'm excited. I wonder if you would be excited or interested to watch him play. But that is really all I have to say about that. I just want to throw that out there because this is a big deal for the Rangers organization as they continue their rebuild and really shows the embarrassment of riches that they have in goaltending and what management and GM Jeff Gordon is going to do now that he has 3 starters currently with the team. So as time goes by, we'll see what happens. My full expectation is Alexander Georgiev unfortunately gets moved, but he could also be packaged with, say, Chris Kreider or possibly someone else, or prospect, depending on what the return will be. I'm not sure, but Georgiev definitely would be getting a decent amount of a return right now, even though he isn't fully established. He's definitely an NHL caliber goaltender, and he has shown flashes of brilliant potential. Now it's just a matter of finding that consistency, him being a young goaltender that he is, and I fully expect him to get there, if not with the Rangers, then definitely with another team. So that is going to conclude this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you haven't checked out my last video, please go check it out. I was talking about the Calder race with the top 10 rookies in point scoring currently, and who I think is most likely going to win the Calder come the end of the season. So if you haven't checked that out already, please go check it out. You could just click right when this video is about to end. It'll pop up. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. I don't really think there's anything else. I should be back hopefully in a couple days. Things have been busy. But with me being off from college right now too, it shouldn't be too difficult for me to get videos out on a more consistent basis. So that is going to conclude this video, and I'll be back in a couple days.